Colleen, I'm really pleased that you were able to meet with me today. One of the things that I'm working on is a DVD to support students as they transition out of high school and dealing with asthma. So I'd like to start out by just understanding, what is a typical interview for you with a student who has health issues? What does that include?
Well, adding a health issue, that makes it an interesting question. Every year we will meet with students, classroom setting, individual setting, but particularly when they're seniors and they're ready to transition to the next step, we're looking at that student as where are they wanting to go. Many students are looking for some post-secondary training, so we're looking at interests and skills and is the fit the right fit for them. When you're asking a medical issue as well, that throws a different question in there. I think sometimes as school counselors, we can't forget that there is a student with a medical issue and that this is not an issue that is a negative issue, but something that they need to manage. So we may look at asking them questions like, is this a good fit for you? Have you been onto that campus? Have you visited the school? Have you looked at the type of employment, and will that work with your medical concerns?
One of the reasons that we decided to put this DVD together is to recognize that for the last 12 years, these students have had the support of their parent or caregiver in their school setting, who have been very conscientious about their triggers, about their need to manage their medications, but now all of a sudden they're getting ready to be more independent. Right. One of the things that we have learned that a lot of times students will assume just because they now carry their inhaler and are responsible for their inhaler, that defines good asthma control. But in reality, and I want to show you, there's a lot more involved with it. When you're in good control of your asthma, you're having very few or no symptoms at all. That's how good the medications are today. You want to prevent the attacks, not deal with them after the fact. We want them to be able to choose the activities that they want to be involved in. Good participation in the activities is encouraged, and we don't want them managing their asthma in the emergency room or hospital.
Right.
You hear a lot about different medications that are used. Rescue are good medications, but if you're using it more than twice a week for symptoms, then you want to talk to your doctor about a controlling med. And you want to also talk to your pharmacist about side effects if you're having a lot of that. So what I'd like to do today is introduce you to a student asthma kit.
Okay.
And this actually is going to address one of the huge issues that students deal with in that transitioning process. And I think something that you can utilize while you're talking to the student, but also get them to link on with the computer at these sites where they can do an actual walkthrough room to room of different things that may trigger their asthma. Let's keep in mind that they may be going into a new job. They may be going to trade school or university. So are they staying in the same area, or are they moving outside of that area? Just like you said, is it a good fit? So just as you suggest that they go to that campus and view or visit with that clinic or find out what the support systems are, they should also think about a walkthrough of if they're going to live in a dorm, an apartment, a group home. And so what we try to do is actually set up where they can look in the kitchen and think about what would be environmental triggers there. Now let's keep in mind that climate could even be a factor, where they're moving from maybe a warmer climate or to a cooler climate. They may now have roommates. It's not only the roommate, but that partner of the roommate. So we're thinking about, does that partner smoke or the roommate smoke? Do they come home on the weekend and there are pets at their home? So even though the pet's not coming to your new home, your new dorm or apartment, the cat hair may. So if we look through a typical walkthrough, they look at the kitchen. We have to think about like the basic things about how you clean your apartment. And again, things that they took for granted. Somebody else at home made sure that they may not clean when they're getting ready for bed or even when they're in the home. Now you have a new roommate, they have different habits. So having that roommate informed about these issues. So kitchen, you can look at how it's cleaned. You can look in the living room and check out what's the carpeting like, how old is it? And that's another thing that's not in their control. So it seems like a lot here for the student to be aware of. And that's why I think if we can start them earlier, if we can talk to them about this transition process before they get there, because let's be honest, if you're starting a new job or you're going to a new school, the first day on campus or in the job is not the time to think about, oh yeah, what about my asthma medication? Where am I going to purchase it? Who is my doctor going to be? So the time to do it is now, where they're getting ready to transition. So I hope that we can bring to your school programs, materials, resources that will help your students and support their efforts in this new move in being on their own.
I think that's a great idea. As you're talking about carpeting and pets, often when we're interviewing students or talking with students about transitioning, we're talking about social skills, getting along, common interests. Does this setting feel right to that student? Informing your new roommates or informing someone that might be a suite mate of your medical concern. But I was not thinking about bringing in pet hair, the carpeting, and it brings us as school counselors another level of things for students with asthma and other medical issues to ask when they're going through the dorms. Is this a carpeted dorm? Is it an air-conditioned dorm? How many roommates are going to be in the room? So yes, any kind of awareness and education around that will be helpful, not just to the student, I think, but to the school counselors as well.
Yeah, and it's interesting because even deciding on a career choice,
Yeah.
if they have wheat allergies, deciding
Right.
to be a pastry chef may have an impact on their
That's
success. And I think it's amazing if we can just prepare them and get them thinking about these issues. They're going to start that new independent stage of their life healthier and more secure.
We're hoping that when students leave us that they've learned some resiliency skills, how to advocate for themselves, how to manage issues in their life so that they're very manageable and that, as you said, they live without the symptoms. So we're hoping that they leave with that, but it'll be an interesting conversation that we should have with our students in terms of making sure that they have not just the right major and not just the right employment opportunity, but also are they taking care of themselves wellness-wise as well.
Thank you. Remember, very few people can define what good control means. This could lead to a relaxed attitude in managing asthma. If using a rescue inhaler more than twice a week for symptoms, consider talking to your physician about a controller medication. Be aware of environmental triggers such as changes in climate, pollutants, pets, allergens, and household products.